Welcome to the Hardcore MBA Podcast with your host, Erlend, Bakke.
Hello from Norway. I thought I'd make it extremely Norwegian here today with the wooden wall and the pots. So I'm signing in from it's about 4 hours north of Oslo. Where are you today?
I'm in London today.
So Chelsey, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about how you got started?
Yep. My name's Chelsey Baker. I'm the founder of Broadcasting Your Business. So how did I get into business and start? I originally started, very early on trading the stock market and had a career in publishing, media, communications, 20 years experience of running different businesses. And now I work with companies to mentor them. And I've won a lot of awards for my work. So it's helping businesses to raise their own profile now and get that media exposure that they're looking for. And obviously mentoring them to increase every aspect of their business, from the sales, the PR to the marketing. So yeah, keeps me busy.
So in terms of trading, why did you go into trading and at what point did you decide to go out of it?
I was very early on in my career and I watched a film called Trading Places with Eddie Murphy. So I just thought, wow, this is quite easy. It looks great. It will bring me a quick buck and it will give me the freedom to not have a job, to not do the 9-to-5 rat race. So I thought, yeah, financial trading sounds fantastic. So then I got...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously with trading, it goes up and it goes down. So, it's very much based on psychology and greed and fear. So when you're talking about the psychology of the markets, and day trading was very big when I was, starting out my career in the stock market. And the pressure, it's so volatile, the swings. You need a lot of money to ride out the bad losing trades. So, I did that for quite a few years and I got more and more cautious, trading more longer term rather than the day trading, which worked out much better. And then I thought, I think I was 19, 20. I thought, hold on a minute, this is not a career. I'm watching a TV screen. I get up late because of the, what time it is in New York. And, I sit there looking at a computer, but I felt that it wasn't what I was put on this earth to do. And, I wanted to, I loved writing and I started writing and I started, working for myself, really.
How did you get really stressed out in situations where you lost a lot of money? And if so, how did you deal with it?
Well, I think anyone would get stressed out if they're losing money, but it's all about not having all your eggs in one basket. And with trading, it's all about spreading the risk. So for that reason, it became a lot easier as time went on. And I pretty much, got to grips with the psychology of the trading. So it became a lot easier.
So you've been on TV a lot, you've presented a lot, you hosted a lot of events, met lots of famous people. For a lot of people, that would be extremely intimidating. As we know, public speaking is one of the most feared things that we do. How do you, is this something that comes natural to you, or is it something that you've always been good at?
No one is born a natural public speaker. They learn their craft. They learn to perfect it and polish it and as time goes on. And I was very fortunate to be thrown in at the deep end on a national, I suppose it was a global TV channel. And I got thrown in the deep end and I started presenting and there was 5 cameras on me and I learned very, very quickly how to present a television show. And it was all these experiences that I then went on to do keynote seminars and speak all over the world. I present a lot of award ceremonies, Cannes Film Festival, Madrid, Berlin, London, and compare business shows. So it's a wonderful career to be able to speak. And now I teach others how to do it. And it's very rewarding because some people come to me and their hands are shaking. They're very scared of public speaking. And I think one of the differences with myself is that I have been there and I've done it. So I do their speech for them and then they copy me.
Right.
So I've had over 1,000 hours of television presenting, live presenting, outside broadcasts, you name it. So my experience, I can pass on all the different things, but I actually help them by, doing it for them. And then they just copy me. So it could be with accent softening. I have clients from Russian clients to, Eastern European, Spanish. I think the last lady was Portuguese. And I speak in a certain way and they follow me. And it's all about the ups and the downs of the language and the tone and the body language. Sometimes you get people going like this and their hand movements. So they're watching me, and that way they're not so scared or fearful because I help them.
And when you do that, do you actually videotape yourself and then give them the video to look at and train before the...
No, they meet me in person.
Okay.
I can do it by Skype or video, but they meet me in person. They email me their speech beforehand. And then I process it. I can make adjustments to their speech. If it's a national TV or press interview, I write the questions for my clients. And sometimes if the television channel has written the questions for my clients, we will rehearse them.
Right. What about nerves before? I mean, you said you get thrown into it, and you kind of just got good at it because you kept on doing it. So basically, like repetitions.
Yeah.
How can people get less nervous before a big presentation? What are other techniques?
Tip, and in fact, I'm going to give you 2 tips here, Erlend.
Okay.
Number 1, I'm not sure if you're aware of diaphragmatic breathing.
What is that?
You best Google it, but you breathe by pushing your stomach out. So you breathe in, but your stomach comes out, and you get a very big breath, and it goes all through the body and the organs. So it makes you very relaxed, not with your shoulders up. The only thing that should be moving would be your stomach coming out like a big fat belly. So you're breathing in and pushing your stomach out, and it's very relaxing.
And how many repetitions do you do? Like 10?
I do 4.
Okay, but before you go on screen,
everything, but I do 1 extra for luck.
Okay. Before you go on screen, you do that kind of breathing, or
I just make sure a lot of singers, a lot of dancers, a lot of actors, they do this breathing, so they're ready. It energizes you, but it relaxes you. And the other thing that I like to do is when I'm on stage and I'm going to be giving a good, a presentation, I just say hello to my audience, and then I go back to my lectern. So I'm going off to present a big corporate event in 2 hours now, and I will walk into a room of 500 to 1,000 people, and then I take my microphone and I say, "Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'm going to be starting the show in just a few minutes' time." I put my microphone down. I look at my paperwork, and that means I've broken the ice.
Right.
So then I'm not nervous anymore.
So it's just starting the ball to roll. It's often...
Yeah. So you just say, "Hello, everyone. I'll start in a minute." or
Okay.
good evening, everyone.
Do you say that to yourself, or do you say it actually to the audience?
No, I really say it to the whole audience.
Okay.
The beauty of when I do things is it's my show, so I can do what I like. But I will always break the ice by saying a couple of key words, then I concentrate, I refocus, then I start. Because sometimes I'm speaking for 1 hour to 4 to 5 hours.
Wow.
So it's a long shift.
One thing that I've started thinking about, let's say I'm giving a presentation, is that I'm actually going to be more nervous thinking about it than actually doing it.
Yeah, the thought is very much worse than the actual doing. Yeah.
How about visualization, practicing, these kind of things? Do you do those kind of habits before a big event?
I don't, because I've been doing it for so long. I believe very much in the power of visualization, and many things I have today I visualized way before they are here. But in terms of where I'm coming from in public speaking, there's lots of tips I give other people, but I don't need to do it myself anymore. I've been doing it for 20 years.
Okay. What are some of those tips that you give?
Well, like the breathing, I think that the best thing that I can say is that if you are, there's a lot of entrepreneurs and, these days that they want to be a success, they're a business owner, they want to be in the news, so you need to have professional media training. I work with my clients and we do the pretend journalist interviews because I used to be a journalist, I used to write. It's priceless to go over your story with somebody who knows how the press works. So, there's many tips, but I think that a big problem these days is that entrepreneurs, they come up with an idea, they think they have a good marketing story. I was with a business yesterday and I said, what's your story? What's your marketing story to go with your new product? And when they told me, it was terrible. So I added on a few things that I would do because I've got 20 years experience in PR, marketing, getting that message out there. And I said, if you do X, Y, Z, have you thought about this? Your story could hit the press in a really big way. But there has to be a reason. What is your reason that I would buy your product? What's your why? And that's the story. Things can go viral very quickly if you get the message right. So, that's what my company does. Broadcasting Your Business is all about getting the right media exposure, getting the right message, and helping entrepreneurs to raise their profile.
And in terms of getting in the media, how do you start? Like, do you just call up a PR company? Do you work with yourself? What is the first action step?
Well, the first thing is that you really have to have your story correct. A typical magazine or newspaper, they can get 10,000 emails, like almost daily. So unless you have a good story and a reason and an existing contact, it's very difficult. I like to help I've got a lot of people in the national press, and that sometimes I start locally with the local the local newspaper to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about crafting the story correctly first. With PR agents, you're paying a lot of money. You're paying in England £3,000 to £10,000 a month. Startups don't have that. Mm-hmm. So that's where I work with people on creating a good story that the local and national news will hopefully pick up.
And it's about their audience, not about your product, right? So if you have to make it relevant to their audience. Am I right?
Yeah. I'll sum it up in one sentence. Why should I write about you? I'm a journalist. Give me a reason to write about you.
Mm-hmm.
What's that reason? And that's what has to be really created in a very strong, clear and compelling way.
And what that journalist wants is that as many people as possible actually read the article, right? So they want to see like 100,000 Facebook likes.
Yeah, but you have to be newsworthy, Erlend. That's the key. We live in a very busy society today where the age of the entrepreneur is here, and in England, 581,000 plus businesses were started last year. They're all going to be writing a press release. They're all going to be wanting to get in the national press. And it's where somebody like myself with the contacts and the experience, when you can help people get into the press, and then that one piece of press can lead to another and another and another.
Do you often find that like a big story will be followed by lots of stories? So like it's like a snowball,
Yeah.
like once you start that process.
And they syndicate. You have so much online media these days. So in terms of one article, I remember once when I was in The Guardian, then it was replicated, the story in The Scotsman in Scotland, exactly the same content. So, local newspapers look to the national newspapers for ideas on their stories, and the magazines do as well.
Right. In terms of where media people hang out, so let's say you wanna network more with sort of PR media people to get to know who you want to work with. What are good places for that?
Well, I speak at a lot of the business shows, and if you want, you have to think about where do you want to be. I'm a top business mentor in England. Why would I want to be in a certain other magazine? Yeah, my audience, where are they? You have to think about where would you like to appear. So when I speak at all the business shows, we have all the business magazines. Often they have a stand there.
Okay.
So at that point, you have to think about who your media is. You're not suitable for every media. Who is your audience and what do they read? So if I want to be in the business magazines, I would approach them at the relevant industry shows. And you have to have your pitch correct. So you have to have, a really short, fantastic, compelling 30-second pitch to go up to them and speak to them. They must get hundreds of people say, hi, can you write about me? It doesn't work like that. You have to, I recommend taking a business card and, working on, your sales speak as such, and then obviously writing to the magazine or emailing the person you've met at the show, and then, giving over your fantastic pitch for a story.
What's your favorite success story in terms of media? So somebody that we have the sort of X Factor, right? The opera singer, Paul Potts. I mean, that's a media success story where he went on to have like millions of views, album, this and this and that. What is your favorite success story in terms of using media to get exposure to then kind of snowball that into success?
Oh, well, you only need to look at YouTube. You've got so many. The one of the videos that I loved the most was the Dollar Shave Club.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that, but it's just about having. What I like about viral videos is that anybody, the small entrepreneur, can stand up against the big boys these days and become a huge overnight success story. So there's many people who have started with video blogs, blogging. You've got the Pixie Woo girls who started doing their makeup tutorials. Huge success. There's just so many. So my advice is to have a look at your industry. Who's speaking about what? What are they speaking about? and think about how you can do something, different, and create those fantastic videos that could potentially go viral.
What about money spent on advertising your own content? Do you recommend that? So if you have let's say you've got 100 videos, one video is really popular, but it's only got 10,000 views, but you know that if you marketed it, maybe you get 1 million.
Yeah. I will answer with a different answer, rather a different idea or thought process. I work with clients to get them PR. PR is free. It doesn't cost them anything. So that is the thing that I like to specialize in, because you're wasting your money paying for huge adverts. I'm not talking about, your Facebook adverts and Twitter ads and YouTube ads that, they're great, but PR is worth a fortune. PR is more believed than advertising. So for my clients, I want to work with them to get them great stories in the national press, and then we upload that to their website so they can increase their sales, their traffic. One article in a national newspaper can make a company. So I prefer PR over advertising.
Would you say that, in terms of Richard Branson, would you say that his key skill set is sort of PR, getting into papers, building his company and his business that way?
Yeah, I mean, he's everywhere. But what I like about Richard is that he is continuously inventing himself. He doesn't just sit there and launch one company. He's always hungry for the next idea. And I like it from a marketeer's point of view that he reinvents himself. I reinvent myself. I'm the media mentor at the moment. I'm a pitching expert. Was I a pitching expert 20 years ago? No. Why am I a pitching expert here in England? Because everyone is trying to raise investment. They're trying to find money for their business. So with 20 years experience in public speaking, presenting, creating your sales pitch, and then I was a judge on a big investment show here in England. And I did that for, I think it's 9 years. I was judging businesses' pitches, for investment. So I learned, I learned so much from that. But I witnessed over 900 business pitches. So I became very experienced in what not to do and what to do. And I saw exactly when investors said, yes, I'm going to give you the money. I saw that point over 9 years or 8 years, however long it's been. I've learned what investors want, what they're looking for. And so I became a pitching expert to pass on my skills and experience to others of what I've seen. But in terms of reinventing yourself, that was a niche that I created for myself. And now I'm known as the UK's #1 pitching expert. So you have to reinvent yourself according to the changes that are happening in society. I write articles on pitching for funding, pitching for investment. That was not around 20 years ago. I work with entrepreneurs now to help them get their crowdfunding videos, their slide decks in order. This is all new.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I guess we're always pitching to each other. So usually the second thing you say to somebody is, "What do you do?" At least if you're asking standard questions. It's like, "What's your name? What do you do?" So I guess when we say what we do, we're actually pitching ourselves to them.
Yeah. Of course, that's why it's called the 30-second elevator pitch. But I work with people, all the time, and I say, when I meet them, what's your 30-second pitch to me? And often people, it's just too boring.
Mm-hmm.
You have to intrigue me. The key to a 30-second pitch or an intro pitch is make me want to know more. Yeah, make me want to ask you another question afterwards. So you don't say, I'm a builder, or you don't say what you do. You say some benefits of what you do. You intrigue, so that then the next question is, oh, could you tell me more? I'd like to know some more. How's that?
Yeah,
Intriguing questions.
absolutely. So in terms of media, you've been on the TV, radio, presenting awards. All these things add to your credibility as a person. In your career, how has that really catapulted you forwards?
Well, when you get into the press, it's somebody else other than yourself endorsing you. So it's in the press. It must be true. People are, for my national day, I was in Forbes. Some very high profile newspapers, from the Guardian to the Evening Standard, and it certainly increases your following from social media, but it brings about a lot more opportunities. So partners, potential JVs, there's all sorts of things that can come about from you being in the national press. So it definitely propels your career. Sometimes, though, I've been on the cover of, 4 or 5 magazines. It sometimes, though, doesn't necessarily produce ROI. It doesn't necessarily increase your sales, that I wake up the next morning and I've got 25 new clients. So you have to be very careful with PR. But I teach a lot of people to try and do their own PR as well, because it's free, but when it's successful, it can be really, really beneficial, and you don't pay for it.
Do you actually do courses? Like, can we come for a 3-day course with you and learn how all the sort of different media skills, PR skills that you have spent a long time learning?
Yes, but I do it all under the bracket of mentoring. So it's
Okay.
media mentoring. That's what my company, Broadcasting Your Business, does. And you've touched on a few different subjects there. If you're going on television and you're going to do an interview, that's one thing. If you want to be a fantastic public speaker and start doing your own conferences and seminars and lectures, that's another thing. If you want press, that's another area. So what I usually do is I meet a company, I find out what is missing, what do they need to grow to get to the next stage, and then we will work on various aspects of the business. It's no good getting in the national press or on television if you have a crap website. It's no good getting exposure if your product is not good or your service is not up to standard. You're wasting it. You get one chance with the media.
So what you're saying is be prepared for success.
Yes, but the way that I work with my clients is I won't put them out in the spotlight if they're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
It's my number one rule. I will fix up their website. I will fix them up. I will fix up all sorts of things. The mission statement, the tagline, the name of the company, the marketing material, everything, so that when they go out there and they get press, they can capitalize on it. Otherwise, it's a waste of time and money.
So if we were to get a bad article, so the sort of the upside of being out there in the media is more sales, more clients. But what if somebody writes something bad about you, something really bad, and it gets viewed by like millions of people? How do you? So it's a two-part question. How do you deal with that psychologically? And secondly, how do you deal with it sort of as a company?
Okay, I don't need to, because I've never had it. And that may sound like a bold statement, but when I'm working with my clients, that doesn't happen. So I've never had a bad article, and neither of my clients had a bad article. Because if you do things in the correct way, and you have this engaging story, I'm very much a believer in positive press. So I've never had a client who's had anything negative written about them, because what is negative about somebody starting a business, becoming a success, and having a fantastic product? There's nothing negative to write.
Right.
So there's a lot of companies that do what we call crisis management.
Mm-hmm.
And then for that reason, I always say to my clients, we have to have a nominated spokesperson. So if something did go wrong, who is the person that's going to go on a national television and apologize and say, we made a mistake? It's working to always, what I do is about protecting people. So we have somebody, we know who is going to be the face of the company, the nominated spokesperson. But in terms of a product going wrong, the reason it doesn't happen to me is because I choose who I work with. I have to believe in a company's products. I don't just take on any client. I'm privileged to be able to choose who I work with. So with my experience, I can see the story, very clearly in my head. So would I take on somebody, who makes pens with no story? No.
I have a pink pen too. My pen is pink.
There has to be a very good story. So, like I said, I've got a lot of experience in this, and there's only so many hours in the day, so I can get to choose which companies I work with. I see and assess their PR potential. So, if a client emails me and says, Chelsey, I'd love to work with you, I say, right, what are you offering? Why do you want to work with me? What do you want to achieve? We'll have an hour consultation, and then I can assess whether or not I want to take on that client, because I want people to be a success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want people to start winning awards. I want to share in their success. So it's making sure that all these startups and even established companies really do have a good story that I can run with to marketing and PR and get that message out there.
So in terms of winning awards, so having like awards to your name, how does that help you as an entrepreneur?
It can help massively. They're very big.
Congratulations. Do you have the shelf, or do you have them all?
I do downstairs. Yeah. So I've won 5 now. One of them was last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's fantastic, because when you get not nominated, but when you win a title like Business Mentor of the Year, what more do I need to say? I don't need to sell myself anymore, because that award will work and do itself. So it's very important. There are a lot of awards these days. So you have to choose your awards that you enter carefully. It's got to be relevant for your industry.
Is there some kind of directory, or how do you find them?
Well, when I work with a client, I find out what industry they're in. I have lists of all the different awards that you can enter, and it's no good entering an award in the beginning. Yeah, so when I see people, I often see people once a month. I will enter that into their marketing strategy, the award.
Okay.
Because they might not have anything great at this stage. Yeah, you have to make sure that you adhere to all the regulations on the awards, that you have enough evidence.
Right. Absolutely. So what are you currently working on that inspires you?
What am I working on that inspires me? It's got to be National Mentoring Day. I created a new awareness day to celebrate mentoring, and it's absolutely wonderful. I've got the whole nation at the moment wants to get involved. We've got schools, colleges, universities, corporates, just so many emails I'm receiving. everyone wants to be involved. So it was a great idea, but the fact that everyone now wants to be a part of it and get involved, is just wonderful. It's very inspiring.
So what is it exactly? Is it like a 1 day a year and then everybody gets together at an event?
1 day a year.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 day a year where the whole of the nation can get involved and they can share their experiences of mentoring. They can learn about mentoring initiatives. All the public sector companies, all public services, on the day, on this one National Awareness Day, they can promote the mentoring initiatives that they have within their business.
Right.
Colleges, universities, what mentoring initiatives do you have? What mentoring programs do you have? And everyone comes together. Last year we did do a huge event in London. And this year we hope that many events all up and down England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland will be taking place simultaneously on the same day.
And why is mentoring so important?
Because it works. It's proven. I've been mentoring now for years and years. I've worked with hundreds of companies. It's just one of those things that works. I wouldn't be sitting here today. I wouldn't have won all these awards if it didn't work. So the proof is out there that, you have somebody to work with you who's been there before, so if you're a startup company or you're a company that's perhaps become a little stale, your sales have dropped, what do? You get a mentor, you get somebody who's been there and done it and has the experience. So if you take my background of 20 years in media, PR, marketing, sales, public speaking, pitching, I pass all that information on and help them get to where they want to be. So it's so rewarding as well.
So I know you choose your clients. What kind of clients are you currently looking for?
I'm very much involved with clients who are, working in the health, well-being sectors. I can't say too much more, but I'm working with some fantastic companies that are involved in organic products. One particular company which is all about low-frequency radiation, high-frequency radiation, all things to make a person, better. So health and well-being sector, I love.
So if we've been listening, watching this episode, where can we get more information about you online?
You can visit my website, which is broadcastingyourbusiness.com. My Twitter handle is @Chelsey Baker. National Mentoring Day, that has its own website as well, which is nationalmentoringday.org, with the Twitter handle of @mentoringrocks.
So guys, if you have enjoyed this episode, please make sure that you hit a like down below here, or if you're listening, why not share it in social media so that more people get to learn all the inside secrets that Chelsey Baker has shared with us here today. Thank you, Chelsey, for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Erlend.
This podcast is brought to you by MrOutsource.com. Outsourcing to the Philippines done for you. Mr. Outsource is a recruitment company matching busy entrepreneurs with Filipino virtual assistants, so you can have the time to focus on what's important.